is a good God. I want to share something with you that it encouraged me. I don't know, it is such an encouragement. I've just kind of been on the verge of being overwhelmed with all the stuff. I'm usually somebody who stresses a lot about stuff, but I've just had a lot on me lately. And then today has been such an encouraging day for me, though. I mean, I almost feel like, I'm going to make this. I'm going to do this. But this, just on a simple note, just the finances that I've been asking for today doubled from where I was at yesterday, and plus I have pledges for a considerable amount more. But I'm nowhere near where I need to be, but that's encouraging to double from one day to the next. And but believe me, there's plenty of room for more. But in October, my trip to Tanzania, I'm going this week by myself. It's not a big deal. I fly to Birmingham, go to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Paris, 4 hours in Paris, and then down to Dakar. Tom and Marla pick me up in the airport. The next day we fly to Sierra Leone. I'm with Tom the entire time, and then basically the same route back almost. And so it's not a big deal, but it's just wise to travel with someone. That's just using good sense, and that's wisdom just to travel with somebody for a lot of reasons, accountability and safety and all kind of things like that. But anyway, I did not want to go to Tanzania by myself. I would have done it, but I didn't want to do it. And I've had a couple of guys, Chris wants to go, but it's, that list still has to be met, And, it's just been, a little different time, for the ones who usually go with me. Well, last week I talked to Ben Harvey, like on Tuesday. And Ben has been having a lot of really bad back problems. I mean, he has really been suffering with his back. And he's been having some treatments. It's just not been a good time for him. And then some other things going on. But he told me Tuesday, he said, because I had to ask him about going, he said, I want to go, but I said, don't you tell me no. I said, I'm going to give you until Friday to hear from God. Okay. I said, I will contact you Friday. And he said, okay. So Friday came, and there was a couple of things. I was going to have to run to Hamilton. Well, it didn't work out to where I could go. And so I got busy. I was busy all day Friday, and I just never did call him. And so my plan was I was going to call him this afternoon. But when I got in my office this afternoon after church and sat down, my phone rang, and it was Ben. And so I picked up the phone and I said, Bwana asifiwe, which is praise the Lord in Swahili. I said, you prepared for your trip? And he started laughing. He said, you didn't call me Friday. And I said, yeah, and I explained it to him. And he said, well, if you'd have called me Friday, I would have told you no. I said, but you're calling today to tell me yes, aren't you? He said, yep, I am. He said, I'm going. He said, this morning, before we left, I told Sherry, Pastor Mike didn't call me Friday, but I just can't go. And Sherry said, Ben, let's just pray about this. Let's pray that God gives us some sort of road sign on this thing. He said, I got to church this morning, and he said, all I could do is sit there and sob. All I could do is just sit there and cry. And he said, there's this lady that goes to our church that God gives her these words all the time, and she'll stand up and give everybody this word, or sometimes he said she can draw real well, and sometimes she'll just start drawing things, and it's like a prophetic drawing, and she'll go to somebody and hand it to them and say, here, God told me to do this. And he said, she's almost always right on target. And he said, she walked up to me and Sherry this afternoon after church, and she said, are one or both of y'all going to Africa? And Ben says, I don't know why. And she said, well, the Lord gave me this and told me to give it to you. And what she had done during church was she had drawn the continent of Africa and drew an elephant head and drew a couple of natives and drew a tree upside down with the root system exposed and all that. And she said, she said, the reason that I drew the tree upside down, the Lord said, was that on this trip, He's going to turn things upside down. And that this would be a trip of victory. Now, which one of y'all were? And so he said, now, someone who offered to give me $1,000 toward the trip. He said, but I'm going to be honest. He said, the Lord has blessed us, and I am perfectly able to pay for my trip to go. And he said, and I could not take that $1,000 and use it for my trip when there are people over there who don't even have $1 in their pocket. He said, so put the $1,000 on the pastors. That'll cover some pastors on there. And I was like, this is getting better all the time. And I said, so I told him he had to sell some Boston butts and ribs, and that he's going to have to raise some money and do some other stuff. He's going to call you tomorrow, by the way, Scott, and he'll tell you what it's about. This has just been a day of encouragement for me. I started the day this morning with about, how many, Scott, 46 or so pastors that could go on this thing. I am now at about 96 pastors that I can bring into the conference. My goal is 500. I want to bring 500 pastors in. That's what I want to do. Each one of these pastors represents 200 people behind him. That's the average. So every pastor that comes in there represents 200 people. And for us to go and to be able to pour into their lives and teach them and help them, is such a tremendous responsibility, but such an awesome privilege. And I just wanted to share that testimony with you and tell you that I'm encouraged, and I'm just believing God's going to meet the need, and then even today, I'm one of these type people that like I said, it's all got to be like this, and everything was all like this, and so in just a couple of hours' time, I was able to get all my stuff put together and everything. I've got everything almost packed. If you brought your stuff that you volunteered to get for the missionary and his family, you can give it to me after church, and we'll get that done. If you didn't bring it, you feel bad about it, give me money, and I'll pick it up at Walmart or something, But we'll get all that taken care of. But I'm telling you, in 2 weeks when we're back in here, I'm going to be able to stand here and give you a good report of victory. I really believe that. And I am excited about it. Tom McLean is a well-known missionary. I've never worked with him before. And when he asked me to do this, I thought to myself, I'm like a lot of people, I thought, I wonder how many people he asked and got turned down before he got to me on the list. And, and I mentioned that to him. He said, you were the one that I thought of first, and I've not asked another person. He said, when I saw you were in Haiti, when I got this, invitation, he said, I even waited before I asked you because I figured it wouldn't happen. And he said, when you accepted it, he said, I'll be honest with you, I was shocked. I was surprised that you were able to do it. He said, but I just really believe that this was a divine appointment. And I'll tell you about Tom. How many of you know who Heidi Baker is? Heidi Baker and her husband Roland have an orphanage in Mozambique. And one of the poorest countries in all of Africa, and they're all poor. There is not one country in Africa. Do you remember that statistic, Scott? Did you read it? There's not one country in Africa that is, and I think the term is financially solvent, or basically every country in Africa is considered a third world country, including South Africa. And Mozambique is one of the poorest of all the countries there. And they have an orphanage there. And the miracles that take place there are phenomenal. I mean, it is commonplace for them to have miracles all the time. Everything from blinded eyes being opened to food being multiplied. They have about 12,000 children in that orphanage. And they're doing so much good that the government of Mozambique, as corrupt and bad as it is, will do anything that will help them because they're doing so much good there in the country. And they've had to have food. They feed something like 20 to 25,000 people a day. And they literally have seen food multiplied as they would just continue to feed people. That's just incredible. And so Tom brought Heidi Baker to Sierra Leone when he was there, a missionary in Sierra Leone. They've had to move to the synagogue since his time. And he said I don't know if you know Heidi Baker or not, because Tom is AG. He is Assembly of God. He's not a Word of Faith guy. He's not a Bill Johnson guy. He's a AG guy. And how he got hooked up and got Heidi Baker to come and do a crusade for him, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And he said, "Do you know who Heidi Baker is?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I think she's an angel." I said, "You did?" He said, "I think that woman is an angel." He said, "I want to tell you something." He said, I want to tell you something. He said, she came and was doing this crusade and people were being healed like you wouldn't believe. He said, even to the point, he said, during the day when there was nothing going on, Heidi would go out into the streets and find sick children and sit there in the heat and the dirt and hold that child for hours at a time and sing to and pray for them. He said, and when she would let them go, they would be healed. And he said, the last night of the crusade, he said, now the church we were at was just wall-to-wall people. He said that it was just unbelievable, the crowd that was there. And he said, I was on one side of the stage. Tom goes about 6'4", 6'5", in that range. Tall guy, big guy. He said, I was on one side of the stage at the end of the service and we were praying for people. He said, I heard somebody on the other side just screaming. He said, I didn't know what was happening. He said, I started running across the stage, jumping over people, just trying to get over there. He said, I got over there and Heidi's just over there praying people normally. And he said, there's a woman that I know who's standing there hysterical. She's just absolutely hysterical. And he said, I said, what is it? And she pointed at her daughter. He said, I know these people. I know the daughter. I know the woman. He said, this lady's daughter was about 4 years old, 3, 4 years old. And she was born with clubbed feet. And her legs were so bowed. He said it was impossible that she would ever walk. And her legs were almost in a circle. They were so bowed. And he said, I looked over there when she pointed to her daughter, and her daughter was over there running around and playing with perfectly straight legs. He said, I believe she's an angel.